Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
It's our TOEIC unit for the month of April, and we're going to be talking about interview tips that every student should know about. Of course, this is quite true if you're going to apply to a prestigious university. You may be called in for a face-to-face interview, and that's what we're going to be focusing on today. But you could also apply these tips to an actual job interview as well.
Oh, yeah, I think these are great for any kind of interview you might have. But what we're going to focus on, of course, are the words that you need. So these are great words if you're planning on taking the TOEIC test in the near future, which most of the kids out there are, I think. So let's get started, guys. We're going to read through and then we'll be back.
Dear students, as the university entrance exams approach, we want to offer you some guidance on preparing for your upcoming interviews. Here are some key aspects to keep in mind. Preparation. 1. Thoroughly research your chosen university and department. Understand and be ready to discuss your choice. 2. Gather records, recommendation letters, and any other materials showing your passion for the chosen department. 3. Prepare a short introduction detailing your background and why you'd be a great fit. Dress code. 1. Dress appropriately. Opt for formal and semi-formal outfits, avoiding flashy colors and excessive accessories. Check if the university has dress recommendations. 2. Keep your hair tidy and your shoes polished. Interview tips. 1. Greet interviewers politely and smile genuinely. Both create a positive impression. 2. Maintain steady eye contact with the interviewers to convey confidence. A steady gaze at the bridge of the interviewer's nose can convey engagement without making them uncomfortable. 3. Sit up straight to show focus and respect. Lean slightly forward to show genuine interest. 4. Use hand gestures to emphasize points, but avoid exaggerating them. Avoid fidgeting, shaking your leg, or other distracting movements. 5. Speak clearly at an appropriate volume and avoid slang or abbreviations. Remember, the interview is not just about evaluating your qualifications, but also about understanding you as an individual. Be genuine, stay calm, and let your passion shine through. Sincerely, AMC High School. Okay, everybody, it's time for us to discuss the contents of our lesson for today. Again, the title is Interview Tips. You could say interview advice that every student should know, or you should know about this information. And indeed, you can be prepared for an interview, especially if you are in an interview that is conducted in English. And this is in the form of a letter from AMC High School. And this letter is sent out to students of the high school to prepare them for an interview that they might have if they're applying to a prestigious college or university. I did not have to have an interview myself to get into university. I don't think most people do in the United States, unless you're applying to a more prestigious university like Stanford or Harvard or Princeton or whatever. You might have to go through an interview in such cases.
Or if you're not a native English speaker, they might ask to talk to you to see if your level of English is sufficient. They want you to be successful in school. They don't want you to fail. Even though they want your money, they still don't want their students to fail courses. So that might be another reason why you might get an invitation to have an online interview. If you're here in Taiwan, they're not going to ask you to go to the United States to interview or even to the UK to interview. We can now do it online. So you'll probably maybe be set up with a Zoom call. And it's always good, though, to prepare. You might think, well, it's online. It won't be so scary. It's still scary. And you need to know what you want to say.
Exactly. Of course, you're talking and you're going to be on camera too, so these tips will apply to an online interview.
Sure.
And the lesson today is in the form of a letter. So it begins, Dear students, as the university entrance exams approach, we want to offer you some guidance on preparing for your upcoming interviews. So this is a situation in which students are preparing for their university entrance exams. So they'll be taking these exams just before they graduate from high school because they want to get ready to go to university. And of course, you need to take those exams first before they can determine which university you will go to. And of course, I think you offer some preferences or something like that. And then eventually they decide which university you're going to go to. And of course, if you go to a specific university that requires an interview, well, we're going to give you some guidance or some advice on preparing for such interviews.
So here are some key aspects to keep in mind. When we talk about key, of course, that just means important. But aspects is also a word you'll hear a lot. Instead of saying, here are some key parts to keep in mind or some key tips here, aspects is a word we use when we're talking about a part of someone's character, the nature of something, what part of this course is difficult, what aspect of this course that you're signing up for seems to be the most difficult. So aspect is just a part of something, could be the nature of something or the character of something. Here are some key parts or key things, if we're just going to go simple English, to keep in mind.
The first one is about preparation. Of course, you need to do some things ahead of time before you go into the interview. Don't just show up without having done your homework or without having dressed up or whatever. So here, the first point is thoroughly or completely research your chosen university and department. Okay, so you need to know about the university you're applying to, and more specifically, you need to know about the department. For example, if you're getting into chemical engineering or whatever, you need to learn about their department, what the professors' names are, their background, what kind of courses they offer, stuff like that. So you need to give yourself some background information on the university and that department, and you need to understand these things and be ready to discuss your choice. Okay, so they'll ask you, hey, why have you chosen to come to our university? What do you like about it? Well, I don't know. You have to know. You have to say something.
Yeah, you don't want to say, well, you're ranked in the top 20. That's not good enough. I helped somebody prepare his applications for law school a couple of months ago. He was here from Taiwan. He's Taiwanese. And he did something really smart. He not only researched the departments and the professors, but he listed how particular courses that were offered there and taught by a particular professor would help him in his future course, his future road to high achievement. He wanted to practice international law. And all of his answers, his letters in his application, you have to submit those first, differed with each college. They were never the same. I was really impressed with how much homework he did. If you don't have a good reason why you want to attend the course, they're not very impressed with you if you don't. So make sure you do some of that preparation. That's the most important part besides the interview itself. Do your homework. Don't be lazy. Number 2, gather records. Gather together any sort of proof or certifications or grades or anything that back up why you would be really a good student for them to allow to enroll at their college or university. Recommendation letters. If someone gives you a recommendation, they're saying, I recommend this person for a job or a school opening or a course because I know them, they have a good character, they're honest, they're hardworking, they're very intelligent. You need those recommendation letters. You need to know before you start to apply who you can get those recommendations from. Not all of your teachers are going to be willing to recommend you or write a good letter. I've had a lot of busy teachers, professors just say, hey, staff, just write the letter for me, what you want me to say, send it to me, and I'll add anything that I think would be good, and then I'll sign it and send it back. So sometimes your teachers will actually ask you to do that. Usually not in high school. That happens more if you're applying for graduate programs. But to help, that's always a good idea. Offer to say, would you like me to write up sort of a, just a letter that I'm looking for? and see if you can go from there. But you need good recommendations.
Exactly. So, yes, indeed, people like professors or bosses or whatever are busy people, and they may not have the time to write the letter themselves, so it might be a good idea to write a letter of a recommendation yourself, and then they'll look it over and maybe make some notes. Well, you didn't really do that, but you didn't really mention the great achievement you had here, so make some changes here and there, and send me the rough draft again, and then I'll sign it, and then we're good to go. So again, you're gathering records, you're getting recommendation letters, and you want to get other materials that show your passion for the chosen department, maybe some other achievements that you had. Maybe if you're trying to get into an art department, show that you actually sold some of your artwork to whoever, or you had some kind of exhibition. That might be helpful as well. Number 3, prepare a short introduction detailing your background and why you'd be a great fit. Now, this would be an oral introduction. You want to be prepared to basically make a mini speech. Be able to prepare. You need to prepare this short introduction, and you're going to introduce yourself, your background, where you're from, what you studied, what you're interested in, and why you would fit in to this university, why the two of you would make beautiful music together.
Yeah. And that's often a part of a letter of application, even before the interview. They want to know why you would really fit in there, how you would help the university, and how the university could help you too. Next is the dress code, folks. The dress code of any kind of place, whether it's a school or a business, there are rules about what kind of clothing you can wear and not wear. Dress codes can be very formal, informal, or semi-formal, semi-formal. You need to find out. So dress appropriately. I would always say dress up. If you're not sure, dress up. You can never dress up too much sometimes. Well, don't wear a ball gown or a tuxedo.
Right.
But a suit and a nice dress or a suit for a lady is great. But dress appropriately. Appropriately just means right for the situation, right for the occasion, right for the time. Dress appropriately. They will judge you on what you're wearing.
Right, so opt or choose formal or semi-formal outfits. Formal, of course, would be a suit with a tie if you're a guy, and maybe some kind of a suit for women as well.
Or dress.
Or dress,
suit,
the dress is probably better. And we could also have semi-formal outfits, which I'm reading as being maybe just a dress shirt with a tie. Maybe you don't need to wear that.
Maybe a jacket on the guy.
Or the jacket only without the tie.
Right.
That's semi-formal.
Yeah.
I don't think a polo shirt would count. That's a little bit too swabe in. That's a little bit too casual.
Yep.
And you don't want to have flashy colors. Don't wear pink and electric blue.
Wait. Unless you look great in those colors. For the ladies, it's okay.
It
don't
might
worry about
depend
that.
on the kind of job it is, like if you're a fashion designer or something like that, or
that's true too.
A makeup company or something. Yeah, maybe they want to see your style. And don't wear excessive accessories, like don't wear flashy chains or an expensive watch or something like that. Check if the university has dress recommendations. Find out first ahead of time how you should dress for the interview. If they don't have those recommendations, then it's better to be safe than sorry. Opt for formal outfits or at least semi-formal outfits.
Yeah, 2 is to keep your hair tidy. Comb your hair. Keep your hair looking good. That says a lot about how you view yourself. Your personal hygiene is very important. And your shoes polished. You might be saying, why would I need to polish my shoes? They're not going to see my shoes. It will make you feel better and give you more confidence if you can polish your shoes. We know some people, us reporters on TV, will often go on camera and not be wearing pants. They'll wear shorts or something because they know viewers can't see that. But always dress appropriately. You never know what's going to happen. And it'll make you feel better, give you more confidence. So here are the actual interview tips. 1, greet interviewers politely, smile genuinely. Both create a positive impression. Yeah, always be sincere. If you're faking it, they can feel it.
Right.
Just remember that.
Be sincere, be yourself, basically, but don't be too casual. Don't greet your interviewer by saying, "Hey, man, how you doing? Hey, I'm really looking forward to this interview, man. Hey, I brought some soda for you. Here, have a cup."
Hey, dude. Yeah, none of that
don't
stuff.
do that. You have to be, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm appreciative. I appreciate the offer to come here and talk to you today. Yes, you can greet them politely. And, do try to remember their names, too, because sometimes they tell you that my name is Mr. Wilson, and then halfway through the interview,
you forget.
go, I'm sorry, but I forgot your name. Ooh.
That's bad.
Get the name down at the beginning. And point number 2, maintain steady eye contact with the interviewers to convey confidence. So don't be looking around the room at the ceiling or at the floor because that means you don't have self-confidence. If you look them in the eye, that does convey or it does show confidence. Confidence, of course, is a belief in yourself, a belief that you can do things, that you will not fail.
Right, and supposedly, according to studies, if you look to the left or the right, it gives people the sense you're lying or you're trying to make up an answer that's not honest or legitimate. So be careful with that. Yeah, but don't, just stare at someone either. That's kind of creepy.
You have to be kind of scary. Yeah. Look away from time to time.
Yeah. So they actually say here a steady gaze. Steady gaze just means, you look for a while and maybe there are 2 interviewers. Who knows how many people are on this call? Give everybody some of that time. A steady gaze at the bridge of the interviewer's nose. The bridge is the part that is near your eyebrows and your eyes there, the bridge. If you do this, it can convey engagement without making them uncomfortable. Don't make them uncomfortable.
Right, so you're engaged, you are paying attention to the conversation, you're taking it seriously, and that's a tip there. If you are uncomfortable staring at them in the eyes, well, then stare at the bridge of the nose. And number 3, you should sit up straight to show focus and respect. Yeah, don't lean back and relax and put your feet up on the desk or something like that.
No.
Sit up straight, and also you might want to lean slightly forward to show genuine or sincere interest. Now, to lean just means to move the upper part of your body in a certain direction that is closer to something than the lower part of your body. Sometimes people will lean against a wall in order to relax or something like that. They don't have a chair available, so they lean against the wall. But here you're going to lean slightly forward, just a little bit toward the interviewer, and that will show them that you are sincerely or genuinely interested in the interview. You're not just doing it for fun.
Right. So moving on, we've got number 4, use hand gestures. A gesture is when you use some part of your body to point or to articulate something, but usually it's pointing, or I talk with my hands more, moving my hands as I talk. Those are hand gestures. You can emphasize points, but avoid exaggerating them. Don't make your background sound better than it really is. That's not good. But that happens a lot in interviews, so be careful. Avoid fidgeting. Fidgeting is when you move for no other reason than you just can't hold your body still. So don't fidget. Don't cross your leg. This is for ladies, I think, more. And just keep moving your foot. Sometimes people will be nervous and do that, or tap their foot on the ground for the guys. Don't do that. Don't make any distracting movements. If you distract somebody, you interrupt them from continuing something they're trying to do. They're trying to focus, and you do something that pulls their focus away from what they want to be paying attention to. If you're distracting, you're actually hurting your own interview, so don't do that. It might get them thinking, wow, why can't they hold still? Are they on drugs?
They're too nervous.
Well, nervous, or, people who take certain drugs, are kind of crazy.
Could be. They could be spaced out. They could be stoned or whatever.
Or have too much nicotine in their bodies.
Could be, indeed. They had too much coffee before the interview.
No.
And, of course, for example, if you've asked the interviewer a question and they're going to answer, don't start adjusting your tie or something, or standing up to tuck in your shirt or something. That would be very distracting, and the interviewer would not have a good impression of you. And here's finally point number 5, speak clearly at an appropriate volume. In other words, don't talk too loudly or too softly. And, of course, you have to speak clearly. Don't mumble. Oh, gee, I don't know what to say. I don't have to answer that question. That's mumbling. You don't want to do that. You got to speak clearly to make sure they understand you. But don't talk too loudly or too softly, and avoid slang or abbreviations. Yeah, don't be too informal in your language. Use appropriate language for the situation.
Yeah, don't use things like, oh, LOL out loud. That's kind of crazy.
That's an abbreviation, yeah.
Yeah. So, moving on here, it says, remember the interview is not just about evaluating your qualifications, seeing if you have the qualifications to earn a place at that university, but also about understanding you as an individual. Maybe there are about, 100 different people of the same test scores. What is it about you that will stand out? That's what they're looking for. Be genuine, stay calm, don't get too nervous, and let your passion shine through. They have to see that you are very excited and enthusiastic about attending their school or working at that company. Right now, guys, we're going to listen to our Chinese teacher, and then we'll be back to talk about these discussion questions.
Hello everyone, 我是派老师。今天讲解的是4月份4月9号 Unit6 Interview Tips Every Student Should Know。今天是多益单元第一天的课程，内容是一封信件，要传授同学2阶面试的技巧。有很多同学在完成学测之后，已经顺利取得第2阶段面试的机会，在此先恭喜大家。不过有别于纸笔测验，面试不能够一味的埋头苦干，我们要了解面试前该怎么准备，面试当中又有哪些要注意的事项，该怎么说话，脸部表情要怎么呈现，肢体动作要如何控制等等。在第一天课程内容，同学可以得到相当清楚的方向指引。好，我们先一起来看学习重点吧。一开头就说Dear students， 好，那请同学呢，请看到第一个句子，这边所指的 University Entrance Exams 指的应该就是我们的2阶段的面试了，而不是在指学测。We want to offer you some guidance on preparing for your upcoming interviews。这里请同学特别注意2个单字，第一个呢是 guidance， 指引。那哪一方面的指引？后面介系词我们用 on。再来，请同学看到 upcoming。那面试呢是即将要发生的，所以我们用 upcoming。以下呢是同学要谨记在心的一些面向，所以我们看到这个动词片语 keep in mind， some key aspects to keep in mind。再来，请同学看到在准备面试这方面有3个句子要提醒同学。第一点 ，thoroughly research your chosen university。那请同学看到这个 research 有及物动词，也有不及物动词的用法。课文当中，这个句子是及物动词的用法，后面直接加上受词，你所选择的大学和科系。整句话的意思是说，针对你所选择的大学和科系，好好做功课。而不及物动词的用法，老师在此提供个例句给大家参考。Our team has been researching into how work will change in the post-generative AI era. 我们的团队一直在研究，在后生成式 AI 的时代，工作会如何改变。请同学再听一次。Our team has been researching into how work will change in the post-generative AI era. 好，再来，请同学看到第2个句子里面，那同学对这些该准备的东西，包括 records, recommendation letters, 还有 any other materials 这个部分，要显现出你对所选择的科系的热情。我想同学都有很清楚的概念，如何做自己的学习档案，那包括推荐信 recommendation letters， 那请特别记起来。再来第3点，在准备的时候呢，也要准备一段简短的自介，描述自己的背景。请同学看到 detailing， 这边呢其实是省略了 which 关系代名词的用法。这个自介呢要描述自己的背景，那 解释一下为什么自己是合适的人选 ，a great fit。再来就服装仪容方面，请同学看到几点。第一点要穿着得体，这里就是 dress appropriately。Opt for 就是选择的意思。那有一些忌讳，请同学千万不要犯，就是避免花俏的颜色 flashy colors。再来，请同学看到实际面试的时候也有几点要注意的。那请同学看到第二点 ，maintain steady eye contact with the interviewers。在给我们面试的这些教授，同学面对面的坐在他们对面的时候呢，可能会有些紧张，不过还是要记得眼睛要看着他们 ，maintain steady eye contact。可是看着他们的时候呢，也请记住不要让别人觉得不舒服。A steady gaze at the bridge of the interviewer's nose。好，所以该看哪里呀？看着面试考官的鼻梁，让他们不会觉得不舒服、不自在。为什么要眼睛看着考官呢？最主要是希望传达出我们的自信 ，convey confidence。再来，请同学看到 use hand gestures 这个句子，其实配合上合适的手势是可以的，特别是你有一些重点要强调的时候。但请同学记住，千万不要太夸张。那再来呢，坐姿要做好 ，avoid fidgeting， 不要让有人觉得你好像坐立难安。fidgeting 就是像坐在椅子上的时候动来动去。那类似相关的词哦，这边有很多。那其他的呢，都是形容词，像 restless、edgy (edgy)、tense， 当然就是紧张 (tense)， 或 anxious 很焦虑，或者 antsy (antsy) 很焦虑的样子。但请同学特别注意 ，fidget 是动词哦。好，再来就是说话的时候，我们都希望谈吐会给别人什么样的感觉？常常其实呢，都跟我们的音量、语速有关系。所以语速不要过快，那音量呢要适当。Speak clearly at an appropriate volume， 所以音量要适中。那最后请同学要记住了，其实面试最主要就是要看我们个人的资格以外，还有呢，其实也是考官希望进一步认识你这个人。So be genuine， 真诚、冷静 ，and let your passion shine through， 展现你的热情。好，以上就是我们针对多益课程第一天内容所做的中文讲解，谢谢大家。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for us to have some discussion questions. Our first question is, have you ever been in an interview before? Please share your experience.
Of course, I have. I'll talk about a job interview. I try to do as much prep work on the company that I go in to interview with. I try to prep work is preparation, right? So prep. I prep. I prep for the interview, and then I try to remain calm. I get kind of excited about stuff, and even today, if I perform, I get nervous. So those are the things I have to think about and try just to be really calm. I'm usually excited if I'm going in to interview for a job with a company, because if I don't have interest in a company, I do not want to work for them. But yeah, I try to find out as much as I can about projects they're working on and how I would fit in well. What about you, Tom?
Same thing. I've been in interviews before, and it's a good idea to prepare for those interviews. I usually am very relaxed in those interviews for some reason. I'm not too nervous or not too uptight, and I generally do fairly well, except back in high school, we had a little program where we had these mock interviews. and someone interviewed me, and
tell them what mock means, Tom.
A mock interview is just a pretend one. It's not the real thing. You're just practicing. And I was basically a joker. I was making jokes with the questions and things like that, and I thought I did a really good job. But of course, the teacher gave me a really low grade because, well, you're not supposed to be funny in an interview.
Too casual.
You're supposed to take it seriously. Here's our next question. What do you think is the most important aspect when preparing for an interview, and why?
Well, if it's for school, I think the most important thing you can do is preparation. Know as much as you can about the school and about your department that you're applying for or that you're hoping to major in and the professors there. And also get your background information down to where you don't have to spend too much time and you don't do things like which happens if you're nervous. Really prepare well.
Right. Avoid those fillers. And especially, I find that very annoying if people keep saying, because that means you don't know and you're asking them if they know. So you should be prepared and confident. And I think that is the most important aspect. Dressing, that's important. And being a professional are important too. But indeed, you need to do that homework. You need to do your homework and prepare for the interview and be genuinely interested in the company and the position if it's a job interview, and be interested, of course, in the school and the department, of course, if you're trying to get into a university of your choice. And we wish you the best of luck, and that brings us to the end of our program. Thanks for joining us. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Bye.
Bye.